Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cooking Up Social Justice, the show where each week we select an organization that works for social justice to raise money for. I know that many of us are realizing how racism and injustice are still embedded in our society, and it leaves us wondering, what can I do? For those of you who feel so inclined, I invite you to join or share this weekly effort to raise funds for groups doing the work of creating a more equitable nation. Before we select this week's group, I would like to try to offer a definition of social justice. It is a term that gets thrown around a lot, and many who use the term are referring to people on social media berating others for not being quote-unquote woke enough. That's not what I'm talking about when I use the term social justice. The term social justice is defined as justice in terms of the distribution of wealth, opportunity, and privileges for all members of a society. And the groups we are raising money for are working towards just that. They are trying to provide resources and power to people who have been historically blocked from having those things. So if you want to know what you can do, one thing you can do is simply just raise money and give it to people who already have the infrastructure in place to do that work. I know a lot of you are probably saying, well, why don't you just donate and leave me alone? I mean, I could do that. I could just donate quietly by myself and not share with anyone, but I would rather try to create an effort, a group effort, and bring people in instead of just doing it as a solitary and anonymous act. So if you want to join, I'd really appreciate it. If you just want to share the effort with those you think might be interested, I'd appreciate that too. All right, anyway, all this talk about social justice is making me a little thirsty. Oh. All right, let's see what we got going on this week. The Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Let's find out a little bit more about this group, what they do, and what we can do to help them. All right, so here is the website for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. You can just Google search it or just find it at nationalsclc.org. I think the thing that's special about this group is that they originated around the time of the Montgomery bus boycott. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of their leaders at one point. So they've been around. They're tried and true. They have a lot of experience doing this kind of work. I believe they know the ins and outs of activism. They do nonviolent protest training for those of us who would like to see these demonstrations take a peaceful stance on countering injustice and whatnot. They offer a few different initiatives. There's, for example, this Justice for Girls, which tries to combat sex trafficking and prevent sex trafficking with different kind of trainings, self-defense trainings, summer retreats and whatnot. They are still active in trying to counter voter suppression, trying to get resources to people suffering from COVID-19. As I mentioned, trying to promote nonviolent protest and do nonviolent protest training, advocating for loans for people of color and low-income people, and, medical treatments such as sickle cell treatment for low-income and people of color. So, yeah, they're still very much active, very much in the game. One of the originators in terms of 20th century activism for social justice. And let's actually listen to their current president and CEO talk about where we go from protests, the importance of raising money for groups such as this, and the relevance of the SCLC today. So here is a YouTube video you can find on their website or just in YouTube.
I hear you saying then we've had a glorious history, but that history will continue as this protest movement move forward as well. SCLC is still in the game, right?
Always will be. You can't protest forever, Mr. E. The ultimate goal of being an individual, of being a physical being on this planet called Earth, will give you the insight and a vision that will let you know you got to have a strategy and a plan. What has hurt us in terms of African Americans and people of all ethnicity who promote justice and equality for all God's children is the lack of collaboration. We don't collaborate very well. There's always been those skinning and grinning and want to be in front of the TV, but with no substance or history. People got to trust you. We're not here just by osmosis or waving a magic wand. Something is sustaining us to be here. It takes a lot to be here. It takes a lot of money to run a movement. It takes a lot of money to run NCLC. It takes a lot of resources, and it takes a lot of trust for those who are in position to provide resources to be enabling you to sustain yourself financially, physically, spiritually from God, and to continue the upward mobility of what we do. We are an international organization. People all over the world understand that, and they applaud that, and they salute that.
All right, so those are just some inspiring words, I think, from the CEO and current president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. So if you want to contribute, it's right here on their website. I'm not going to do a GoFundMe for this group because the GoFundMe is divided amongst their different chapters, and I would rather just donate to the main headquarters located in Atlanta. So here's where you can contribute, and just as I did last week, I contributed as well. I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I didn't do. Here's my receipt coming up on my slow computer. Yeah, there it is. There's my receipt. Again, I did $50. Of course, you can do more or less than that. Just any amount, I just want to kind of invite you to join me. So just do whatever is comfortable for you. But there it is, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. So, I put my money where my mouth is. I'm not just asking you to do it. A little update on our last fundraiser. I believe about $200 were donated to the GoFundMe, and I donated $50 directly to the EJI, and I believe some other people directly donated to the EJI as well. So I think we probably got about $300 to $400. The fundraiser is still active on the GoFundMe. You could check it out on Cooking Up Social Justice Episode 1. The fundraiser for this, I'm just going to put a link to where you can contribute on their website in the YouTube video description. So yeah, if you want to contribute, go ahead. The link will be in the description video, or you can just go on their website, nationalsclc.org, on your own and do it. So let's see what we can do for the SCLC, one of the originators in 20th century social justice activism. All right, thanks a lot for your time and attention, and I'll see you next week, everyone.